Welcome again to a look at another load of new mods on Farming Simulator 25 with me, MrSealyp. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Tuesday the 18th of March. We've got over 19 mods if you include the fact that packs have got multiple mods in. We've got one update today, the DFM RT3000 by AtzeVR ABP team. On Sunday, we had 57 updates. Now, normally I would read out the updates, and if there was anything that stood out to me, I would explain. I might even show some off. I'm not reading out 57 mods. Anyway, we need to crack on. The last of the mods today has got quite a few options on it, so I need to get through fairly quickly. We're going to start with, to our left, the House in Old Style by Kazani317, 9.67 megabytes download, 54 slots, 50,000 to purchase. Build mode and farmhouses is where you will find it. Lots of lovely decoration. Wardrobe trigger to the side there, sleep trigger there. You can't go inside the building, but highly decorative nonetheless. It's got a lovely look to that. Awesome. That's the House in Old Style by Kazani317. Next to that, we've got this. This is an absolute doozy, this one. This is the Small Farmhouse by BK Mods. 11.74 megabytes download, 22 slots, and it costs £1, euro, or dollar, which is awesome. If you want to do it on the cheap, might be like an old abandoned house, you think, I'm going to do it up. What's great about it is you come inside, look. It's basic, but it's fully kitted for what you need. We've got a stove, we've got a fridge, we've got sink and cooker. Keep nice and warm. Little bathroom area. Wardrobe trigger over by the chest of drawers. Very nice touch. A few toys if you get bored on the shelf. With your sleep trigger just there, and our light switch is just over there by the door. Also under build mode and farmhouses. No customization options on either of those. They come as they are. That's by BK Mods. I like that one. Next we've got this, the Old Deep Well. I mean, I'm assuming it goes deep as well. It's quite tall as well. This is by Raider. This 3.23 megabytes download, 4 slots, 8,500. But once bought and placed, the water is not free. It will still charge you for the water. So your water point is just there. Nicely weathered. It's a big bit of kit. You'll find this under build mode and containers. So that's the Old Deep Well by Raider. Next we've got, well, not that, that's something else. We've got this. This is a storage tank, not an overflow tank or an extension. This is the Manure Bunker by LSFactoryMODS. This is 5.66 megabytes download, 11 slots, 65,000 to purchase with a 500,000 litre capacity. When it says Manure Bunker, this is slurry, so liquid manure. Putting in is done here. Taking out is done over here. And what's cool is the fill plane does fill when you put your 500,000 litres in there. Now it is only for slurry, it's not digestate as well. So if I now start filling my tank, actually should probably start the engine. As that fills, the tank will slowly drain. He says, whoa. It's going to take a while, but it does drain. So you've got, like, you can see the concrete at the bottom, and then obviously as you fill it up to 500,000, it slowly fills up, which is, there's nice little touches. Those little things make all the difference, don't they? Stands out. I'm not sure if this gate opens, actually. I haven't tried yet. It doesn't. Okay. That's probably for safety reasons. There is a padlock on there. It does make sense, doesn't it? Anyway, so there we go. If you've got a load of slurry you want to store, 500,000 litres, it will do it. Build mode and silos is where you will find that one. I already said the price, no, 65,000. Yeah, no customization options. You get it just like that. So that is the Manure Bunker by LSFactoryMODS. Next, we've got a selection. There are 6 in this pack. This is the Old Log Sheds. This is by Agrogaatti. 22.38 megabytes download. Under sheds, we've got 3. 3 slots, 3 slots, and 4 slots. And under silos, we've also got 3, 5 slots, 6 slots, and 6 slots. So we'll have a look at them here first. That's the first of the sheds under sheds. These are really nicely made, and like I said, the level of detail and weathering, they look rickety. They're very cool. This one's got a sliding door to it. There's no lighting on these. It's all the little detail. Again, bolts and all that kind of stuff. Drive through, sliding door with a porch bit lean-to on the side for whatever you want. If you can fit through that gap, you might be able to put a header trailer or something like that. And then we've got the larger one just here, which has got a drive-through section here, if you want to, or coming from either side. We've got a doorway here into the side of the building, fairly large drive-through on the main section here. Again, no lighting, and a larger porch section to the side just there. Then we move to these, and these are silos. Now these are hay lofts, hay or straw. Well, I suppose you could do both, but this one holds 80,000 litres, this one holds 150,000 litres, and this one holds 120,000 litres. And it's not of each type. I didn't try and put some of each in, but I would imagine it works just like a fairly regular hayloft. This one, the doors do open and close on it, like so. So build mode and sheds. I mean, it's kind of, well, I've said sheds already, but there you go. 5 grand, 8 grand, and 12 grand. I didn't say the prices. That's why I was going to come in and show you for the 3 sheds. So that's these ones here. 5 grand, 8 and 12. Then we come onto our silo section, and we start there at 2 grand, there at 3 grand, and there at 4 grand. Now, what I will say about these ones, these do have a customization option. It's an interesting one, actually. If we click on R3, you got props, yes or no. Actually, I've picked the wrong one because the doors are closed on that one. Let me show you on this one. So we look inside there at the moment, it's empty. R3, props, yes or no. Puts props and stuff in there. So it puts sort of hay in there already, a wagon wheel, a hay fork or straw fork, however you want to refer to it. So you can have your props in there. Then roof setup at the moment is tiles on the brown. So if I come down to that and then click like that, if I go to there and go to the grey, it puts the corrugated roof on. So you've got tiles or corrugated roof. And the interesting thing with that is it doesn't then carry on along. If I go to orange now, it stays on tiles. It's just those first two. I think they've just used the colour option. So there's no colour choice. It won't change colour. I think it's just the first two. They've just used this as the 2 options for that. There you go. Look, shake roof, tin roof. Then the rest are just colours. So if you want either of those roof types, you can on that pack. So that's the old log sheds by Agrogaatti. Next behind that, we've got the shed pack just here by DMI 20mm Normandy. 11.61 megabytes download. There are 2 sheds which are identical sheds apart from, I keep saying, I mean they are, apart from the fact one has got a concrete bottom section, one has got a brick section. So there's 2 under sheds, and there's also 2 under cow barns, which is just around there. Again, one's got a concrete bottom, one's got a brick bottom. I've gone with the one concrete there, brick here, just to show the difference in them. I couldn't find a light switch on these, but they are nicely made in detail. There is lighting in here, so I'm making an assumption the lighting will be automatic. I did go along the backs of these. I didn't have anything that came up. Went right into the corner, went round. So I imagine the lighting will be automatic. Then it's basically the same building, but under animal pens, we've got cow pens, like I say, concrete at the bottom or brick at the bottom. This holds 35 animals. And the trigger for feed and bedding. Now, this is a breeding barn only. This is not a milk barn, so you won't get milk or anything from it. I don't think you can get slurry from it. It is literally just a breeding barn. You might get manure because it will take straw. Let's just double check actually. Let's go to there. Go across to our cow barn. Productivity and straw. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about slurry on there. And if you want manure, you have to put a manure heap in to go with it. These items are decorative. I'm going to talk about those in a moment. They're also by DMI 20mm Normandy. But let's go into our build mode. So under our sheds are the first 2, and like I say, they are identical. So there and there, 24,500. These do have an option for colour. So let's go yellow, for example. There you go. Does all the sides. So that's that one at the front. This one here. If we come out of there and we go to our animals, down to our cows, and there you go. We've got those 2 there. 44,500. They are identical apart from the brick and the concrete, and the same option applies. You do your customization option and you can change the color. As you can see, the rear one, I have gone red on that one. So that is the shed pack. by DMI 20mm Normandy. But what I'm going to do is jump ahead a little bit to, this is the Placeable Dairy Farm package, also by DMI 20mm Normandy. I thought I'd put it here because we're by the farm. I know it's not a dairy farm, it's a breeding barn, but this pack has a wheelbarrow, it has 2 car feed glues, you can't put anything in, these are decorative, one closed, one open. Then we've got some concrete panels, the slatted floor plates you would have in a barn as well. These are just all under decorative, so build mode down to here, and then we go across to decoration. There we go. 50, I think they're all 50, aren't they? Pretty sure they're all 50, and they were all they were 1s and 3s. There was 1 slots on these, and these ones, the concrete plates were 3s, I think is how it worked out. Yeah, so under build mode, decoration, and then what I did with this one, because this pack, this one here, comes like that, I placed one of those, and then what you can do, it depends what you want, which one you want to go for. Let's go out to the side. When you get next to it, it will raise it up. So if you wanted it to look like there were concrete panels placed on top of other ones, it will let you do it. Would it put you on top of there? Yeah, potentially. Not that you particularly want to put concrete panels on top of your car figures, but you could if you wanted to. That's the Placeable Dairy Farm package by DMI 20mm Normandy. Next, we have got just here. That went a little bit laggy, that was weird. We have got these. This is the Placeable Filling Stations by AtzeVR. 2.74 megabytes download. 5 slots, 7 slots, 7 slots, and 4 slots. They're £100, euros, or dollars each. We've got one for seed, one for liquid fertiliser, one for herbicide. So that's seed, that's herbicide, that's liquid fertiliser, and that is fertiliser. What I will say is this. They are cool, don't get me wrong. They don't take up a lot of room, and if you want to add a little bit of something onto your farm, somewhere you can go and grab stuff and without having to go and buy pallets and that kind of thing, that's fine. However, the prices are a lot higher than the base game versions. I always find that puzzling with these. Fine if people want to do discounts and stuff like that, but if you're going to have it as a kind of replacement for the base game stuff, I would personally think you'd put it at least at base game level price. Otherwise, it's prohibitive in that unless you're really, really desperate to have this particular thing, are you going to pay extra for all your... I mean, I don't know. I suppose it depends how you feel about it, that kind of thing. Anyway, but what I will say is the seed came out at 1,620 for 1,000 litres, which is normally 1,260, which is an interesting change in the numbers. And then I went out to the fertiliser on the end. The fertiliser came in at 2,880. If we go into our base game and look at our solid fertiliser, for a big bag of solid fertiliser, 1,920, so 2,880. It's considerably more expensive. Even if we go for in a pallet like that, it's still 1,920. So it's more expensive. But again, you might just particularly want this pack, which is absolutely fine. We come up to the top, go across to our containers. That's where you'll find them. So there we go, just there. There's our 4 seed, herbicide, liquid fertiliser, and fertiliser. Just there. So that is, turn my sheet back over from my other notes, the Placeable Filling Stations by AtzeVR. Next we've got the Grain Warehouse, which is around the back here. Again, an nicely made, weathered and detailed mod. This is the Grain Warehouse by Raider. 15.49 megabytes download, 9 slots, 105,000 to purchase. There were no... Actually, hang on just a moment. I don't think there are any customization options on this, but I better just double check. Just there. No, there weren't. But it's like chipped and broken and damaged. It does look really, really good. So, big old doors out the front here. Big door to the end there. Where was the light switch? Here, just here. And I like this as well because the lights came on. You know what I'm like, look. Well, they go out and then you watch the floor as you turn them off again. Look. I love that. That's very cool. So yeah, store your vehicles, machinery, equipment, bales, whatever you want to in here. It's a rather large building, and as we've seen, under sheds for, what is that, was 105,000. Yeah. That's by, check my notes, Raider. Next, we've got the warehouse. This is a root crop warehouse. This is by AtzeVR. This was on New Bartleshagen, wasn't it? Which was AtzeVR. So, yeah, it was on there. but we've got it here now. This is the warehouse by AtzeVR. 8.9 megabytes download, 17 slots, 86,000 to purchase. It does have a customization option for colour. It holds 80,000 litres of each of the main root crops. So it will do your potato, sugar beet, carrot, parsnip and red beet. And as you see when you put them in, bottom right it says carrots and parsnips. That's what I've put in already. 80,000 litres of carrot there, 80,000 litres of parsnip. If you bring the other items in as well, it puts them into the bunkers around. Putting in is done into this one here. Taking out is done out of this one here. There's no pipe. I don't know. Anyway, we've got drive-through front to rear, but we've also got double door that side. That one opens, and that one opens to the side there. And we did have a light switch just here. Was it a light switch? There you go, turn on shed lights. There we go. Build mode. And silos, this one was under. Actually, it's just there. 86 grand. Let's move over into a space where we've got a bit of room. Just here. Customization options on this. We can have solar panels on the roof, yes or no, and then we can change the main colour like that. There we go. So, root crop storage building. That is the warehouse by AtzeVR. Next, actually we need to go up onto the hillside for this one. Next. We've got this. This is the Grain Complex by Didec96. 26.68 megabytes download under silos, 19 slots, 19 slots. And 600,000 litre capacity is this complex here. So it's the silo with that big shed that comes next to it. There's also a hall that comes with this, which is under build mode and sheds, which is 9 slots, 105,000 to purchase. I'll get onto the price of that in just a moment. This is a standard crop type silo, so 600,000 litres of your base game stuff. It's not a multi-fruit silo. So the large shed, this one here, is basically that shed, just separate. So if you wanted it, I'm not going to go into that one and show you, because I can show you on this one. But build mode and sheds just... Actually, we're under silos. I might do this one. So 385,000 for that there. There's no customization options for it. There you go, as you can see. 90-degree placement. Then we come across to our sheds. And there it is for 105 grand just there. Again, 90-degree placement for the shed that comes with it. No other customization options. I found curious actually. I mean, it looks cool. It's very nice indeed. You got your Unia silos there. Putting in is done here. The only thing I find potentially prohibitive is the fact that the tipping point is here. So if you've got trailers that tip up, larger trailers, the roof kind of gets in the way. If you've got trailers that tip sideways, so some of the larger ones that do tip sideways, that'll work, no problem. So putting into silos done here, taking out of the silo is done just here. Then you've got this gantry that comes across. I thought that's quite cool. And you've actually got a spout. We have got a spout that comes through the roof just here. Obviously the one that's on its own doesn't have this, but I thought, well, maybe you can take out of the silo in here. I did check, you can't, but it doesn't hurt to check. And over here by the wall, we have got our lights off, which does the same as the other one does, interesting enough, which is quite cool. And they're by different people, aren't they? They were. It was by... Oh, these by... Hang on just a second. Crane Complex... Oh, yeah, no, it was Raider, and this is by Didec96. So, yeah, they are different. So there we go. That one has got another door across there. There's not much else to say about that, really. It's a standard crop type silo, 600,000 litre. Yeah. And the hall that comes with it by Didec96. Next, just here, we've got this garage with workshop, another really highly detailed one. So, garage with workshop, this by Raider, 31.37 megabytes download, 17 slots, 72,000 to purchase. Under build mode and under tools is where you'll find this one. Just there. No customization options. This is repair only, not repair and repaint. What I did also was brought my vehicle to the outside here, pulled up actually just with that tractor trailer, just here outside the door, and it picked up no problem at all. So for your larger vehicles, you don't have to go inside. You can still repair them from outside. So there's your trigger. This has got individual lights for each section, kind of each bay. So there's that one there. I think that might do both there. There we go. For your bays. Actually, I don't know if that does the outside lights as well. Let me just double check, because there is an outside light. Is the outside light on? Unless there's an outside light switch. I don't know. Didn't know if I noticed one. I don't know if I noticed one. Oh, hang on. Maybe. Oh no. Okay. Anyway, nice building. Like I say, loads of detail inside. Garage with workshop by Raider. Next. Now, I only said about these the other day when I did the map tour on 4 fields, Vierfelden by OmaTana. I said, are we looking into the future here? Because both of these buildings were on the map and we hadn't had them as a mod yet. And now we have. Produce not everything. I'll say that now. Not everything, but a fair amount of stuff, which is quite cool. This is the Small Farm Production by OmaTana. 13.32 megabytes download, 16 slots each, 45,000 each. Customization option, as you can see, you can change the colour. That's a more reddy brown. Went for a green. You can pick and choose the wood grain colour if you want to. Build mode and factories is where you'll find these. And interesting, it's one of those days again, we've got the same with low loaders later on, but we've got these productions here, and we've also got a production by the Lort, which we had on, I think we had all of these on 22, but by the Lort as well. It's just typical, isn't it, that they both come out on the same day? But if we come down to here, so there we've got a farm production building, which is this one here. I said 45,000. We click on that, swing it around, you'll see that we go like this, and pick what colour we want to go for. Let's go blue, for example. There you go. And you can obviously mess around with the hue and stuff on those. And then next to that, we've got there, the farm supply production. So these do all sorts. And what's very cool about these as well, you can go inside here, and we've got just over here, if you want to make your dough, you can prepare your dough. That's just a little animation with the sound effect. And then once you've prepared the dough, you can bake. It says, there we go. Do you bake it? I mean, it's just an animation on there, just to add a little bit of immersion, which I really like. Putting in and taking out is done here on this production, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but what I will say is the capacities aren't that high. You can't put tons and tons of stuff in these, but the recipes aren't bonkers either. I know some people are like, it gets ridiculous when recipes and cycles per month become so daft. These things are churning things out. The recipes and cycles per month are pretty much like the larger productions, to be fair. But we can do bread-related items. We've got stuff for dairy. So we've got buffalo milk, mozzarella, butter. We can do cake, bakery stuff like with the bread. Then we've got canned items. We've got oils we can do. Cereal, cheese, chocolate, clothing we can do. Flour, very simple ones, goat stuff, grape juice, jarred items, so the preserved food factory stuff as well in here. We've got pig food recipes, so if you want to do pig food in here, although that is only, why does that say pig food? 1 pig food to 1 pig food, unless that's for distributing. Potato chips and soups and things like that are all in here. What this doesn't have, this is not a carpentry or a sawmill, so it won't do those things, but it does tons of other stuff in here as well. Again, for the price, I mean, if you don't want to have loads and loads of productions all around the map, and you want to do a few or pick and choose from them, it's an ideal thing to have. You're not going to be churning stuff out at a colossal rate, but it works really nicely. And then next door to that, so that's all kind of more production related things. This is more your farm supply stuff. So again, if we come into here, we've got the mixer thing we can turn on. Puts a little bit of each in. Oh, that's interesting. When I did it the first time, it did a little shoot of each thing into there. I haven't got anything in. Oh, there you go, look. Door opens and closes as well. Do we have a light switch inside these? Maybe not. But this one will do your farm supply stuff. So things you'll need for your animals and your day-to-day and that kind of stuff. And I showed this again. If you didn't watch the map tour, you'll see it on here. So we can make seed from barley, which is what a lot of people do. They'll leave seed over from the previous year. Then they get the coatings and stuff put on it, fertilizers and bits and bobs, and they do the seed treatments and whatnot. So we can make seed from barley. We can make silage from chaff. We've got a pig food recipe, which involves corn and other items. I'm not going to go through all of them. Capacities are pretty good. But again, recipes are okay. Cycles per month are okay. Nothing crazy. We can make seed from corn. We can make liquid fertilizer from digestate. We can make solid fertilizer from digestate, but that requires a couple of other bits. We've got hay from grass, silage from hay. We can make lime, mineral feeds. There's another recipe there for pig food. That one requires potatoes. We've got silage and digestate. So this one, so you can do your silage, grass to silage, 1-to-1 recipe. But if you add water to that, you also get digestate as a kind of byproduct with that recipe. That's a bit of a brilliant one to have, because then you can use the digestate from that for other processes further up, like that one, for example. Add a bit of lime to it. You know, there's a whole load of stuff. Anyway, and it's another cool building. You've got total mixed ration recipes. You've got one that requires your 3 elements, your silage, hay and straw. You've got one which is just hay and silage, and then you've got one, I think, that does all of them. Requires everything, yeah. So hay, silage, straw and mineral feed to give you a recipe. And then we can make seeds from wheat in there as well. Again, it's yeah. That's got larger capacities because obviously you're normally using more of things like hay and straw and straw. What am I talking about? Total mixed ration, those kind of things. So rather than having like a 10,000 litre capacity, it's 100,000, 200,000, that kind of thing. So both of those combined, you never need to leave your farm again. You're absolutely sorted. But saying that, so that's by OmaTana. That's the where are we? I've lost it. Small farm production by OmaTana. Next to that, we've got the all-in-one production by the Lort, just here. I used this on Silver and Forest on 22, if I recall correctly. So also on a build mode and factories, just there for 25 grand. Slot count on this was 8, 9.86 megabytes download. If we come to here, we've got a sell wood bit here. So as you can tell, this one already does some of the carpentry and wood processing things, which the other pack doesn't do. So click on this here. Again, I'm not going to go through all of them, but look at the capacities. Massive. Million litres of everything coming in, pretty much. Yep. And then coming out again, tons and tons of storage. But if we come right to the bottom again, the recipes aren't crazy. The cycles per month aren't crazy. So it's, whilst it has got tons and tons of space, it's not bonkers. So again, we can make flour. We've got bread recipes, including rice. We've got the dairy stuff, cake stuff, oils. There you go, carton rolls. So the paper mill, paper factory, cereals, various different ones there, clothing, fabrics. There you go, furniture. So carpentry. We've got all the other stuff, grapes, again, flowers, oils, paper rolls, as well as the card rolls. Come further down, and we've got sugar mill as well, so sugar factory 2, and then move on to our sawmill items as well. So again, combined ops. If you don't want to have tons and tons of different productions all over the place, you might want to put this on as well, or instead of, or, you know, you choose. It's up to you, of course. Use them, don't use them. I'm just showing you them. So here they are. It's down to you after that. That's all-in-one production by the Lort. Next, behind this, we have got the multi-loader Bale King. So this is by Mac Trucker 921, 1.8 megabyte download and 3 slots. Now the base game version of this, the all but, is just for front loader tools or front loader vehicles. This one gives you the option to change the colour and stuff of it, and it's also available in each of the categories with the option to change it to each of the categories anyway. So you can have it on front loader, telehandler, wheel loader or skid steer loader, as you can see in front of you. What I will say though is the decals on the side are a little bit flickery. Now it could just be it could be a map thing. It could, there's various reasons that can happen. It could be the decals just not sat in quite on the correct plane. I don't know. Like I say, I'm not a modder, but there's a bit of a flicker. It's obvious. You can see it. You know, if I don't mention it, people say, "Oh, it was flickering." So and now it's not. So you know. So let's go up to our items up the top here, and I'll show you for what I mean. There's the base game one, the Bale King. Price is exactly the same. Slot count on that is 1. The slot count on this is 3. If we come down to here, you'll see it. There we go. So there's the multi-loader Bale King. It's the same price. Slot count's a little bit higher, but we can then on here go front loader, Manitou, telehandler, skid steer loader, wheel loader, back to front loader. Chassis colour changes that section. Main colour changes that section. And then design colour changes the tines like that. There you go. And if we come out of there and out of there, you'll see it's under telehandler tools as well, again with all the options to choose from. It's under wheel loader, so if you're wondering where you'll find it, it's under each category anyway. And then skid steer loader tools just there with the same options on each. And to be fair, it does the job. Drop that down, back away. We do have the option on here to fold front loader tool like that, put that away. So that will still operate if you want to grab stuff. That's more if you put the forks away. That's more if you're dropping things into feed mixers, mixer wagons, and you don't want the forks in the way. We can hopefully it will still connect to it. There you go. And then when you're over a mixer wagon, then you can just open the clamp up and that should just drop. There you go, straight in. So you've got the fork option or not the fork option. That is entirely up to you. I think it says in the description as well that the speed of the closure of this has been adjusted as well. So there you go. That is the multi-loader Bale King by MacTrucker921. Just over here we have got the Lizard 9 Tines by SeviModding, AM Modding, just here. It's under cultivators, 3.74 megabytes download, 3 slots, 2.4 meters wide. Option on this was just colour choice, if I recall. Just there, cultivators, 5,500. Yeah. Just like that. 90 horsepower required to operate it. Let's jump in and start it up. Now under cultivators, this probably not a shallow cultivator. Oh, there you go. So it's not a shallow cultivator. So when you have got stones coming up, I'm finding it's getting a bit... I'm on different maps with them on. I've got field stones turned on. Some areas they're coming up, some areas they're not coming up. But that should bring up small stones, not massive stuff. Plows and stuff generally do that. But there you go. Nice and easy. The Lizard 9 Tines by SeviModding and AM Modding, or SeviModding, AM Modding, I think part of. Next we've got the Lizard Golf Cart, which is just over here. This sounds like some like UFO when it starts up. It's very interesting, this. So, this is by Pettibeurre and FS Play, 5.09 megabytes download and 3 slots on the consoles. If we come up to the top, across to our cars and bicycles, there you'll find it, 8 grand, 48 horsepower. We've got wheel setup, we've got standard or standard 2. We've got main colour, anything on that palette, like that. Design colour does the seat, so if you want a real plush leather or you want to go for, it's up to you. Of course, rim colour, anything on that palette, like that, and a license plate option there as well. Now this one doesn't have a trailer attachment or anything like that, and it doesn't say in the description whether it's passenger compatible. Sometimes when they are, it allows you to get into the passenger seat where it says enter vehicle driver. Sometimes it will say enter vehicle passenger if it does, but it hasn't said that. So let's start it up. Lights on or off. I have to say the lights are quite bright. Yeah, listen. There you go. If you fancy whizzing around the farm in a golf cart, on a golf cart, I suppose in, technically, on a golf cart, there you go. So that's the Lizard Golf Cart by Pettibeurre and FS Play. Next, we've got this. This is a nice one as well. I've said the next two are awesome. This one I don't recall before, but the other one we did have on FS22, and that's an absolute beastie. But let's do this first. This is the Low Loader Galtrailer by Hispano, 21.79 megabytes download and 7 slots. We might well have done. Apologies if we have. I suppose I've done so many mod reviews now. Trying to remember all of the low loaders and stuff we've had is almost impossible. So there you go. There's the Galtrailer PM3, 56 grand. Options on this: protectors, yes or no. That's the side impact crash protectors if you want them on. Top closure, yes or no. So if you want that closure up the top, closure, you can have that on or off. We've got decals, blue or white. We've got beacon lights, white or orange. We've got extension. So if you're going to be putting wider gear on there, you might want the extension. But the beauty of that is, if you're going to be taking stuff normally, you can go up to any workshop, any toolbox trigger, anything you've got, and you can change that at any point to put the extensions on if you're going to transport something a bit bigger further down the line. So that's entirely up to you. Hitch, we've got truck or tractor. So at the moment, that's got a normal fifth wheel hitch. Do that, and you can pull it with a tractor or anything that has a hitch on it for. We've got rear hitch, yes or no, so we can put a hitch on the back of that, so we can tow other things behind it as well. We've got gooseneck ramps, so up on this top bit here, we can put the gooseneck ramps on. So if you want to drive stuff up, if you've got a skid steer loader and if you're doing logging stuff, you can put something smaller up onto the top bit as well with those ramps. We've got version EU or US. And interestingly, from the EU to the US, you're getting a bigger trailer. It's 22,500, but it's a much bigger trailer, which I went for. Main colour, anything on that palette, like so. Design colour does the underside. Go under there you go. All of that underneath there. Rim colour does the rim colour, and a license plate option on there as well. So let's come out and start this up. So we do have beacons, and we have got go down ramps. And I like the fact that beacons then just change angle. They're still flashing, you can still see them flashing, which is really cool. And what I also like as well, when you get to this position, L1 and right stick side to side, if you are taking something a bit more monstrous, you can take those a little bit further out to get the bigger vehicles on, which I think is very cool. And then bring it back in again. You can bring it in quite tight as well if you've got smaller vehicles, which I like. That's cool. Open cover does the ramps at the front. So if you are going to be putting something on there, so the gooseneck ramps, so you can drive stuff up onto there if you want to. And then we've got tension straps, yes or no, which can be done manually, of course, if you want to. Let's take the beacon off. Let's up ramps, close cover. Very cool trailer. Not too expensive. In the US, I say not too expensive. So once you get the US version and a few bells and whistles on there, the price does go up, but very cool bit of kit that. That's the low loader Galtrailer by Hispano. Which brings me on to the last of the mods for today. There are 2 maps. I don't know when I'm going to go into those because it's getting late already here and I haven't even finished and I've got to edit and everything. And tomorrow morning I've got a meeting. So, yeah, and the problem is if I drop mods again tomorrow, I'm not sure I'm going to get 2 map tours done before... I don't know. I'll do my best. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I will try. Anyway, so here, this is the transport trailer, 19 metre and 25 metre by SeviModding and SrVertex. 26.96 megabytes download, 7 slots for each one. And this one is an absolute weapon. I mean, it is massive. What I will say is, if you go for the option to have the header trailer attachment, which you don't have to have if you don't want to, I would suggest whatever lorry you've got, you make sure you've got it in the longest wheelbase configuration. Because when you stretch this right out, this bit here will end up going through your cab of your vehicle. Yes, it will. So you can transport harvesters with their headers, or if you don't want that attachment on at all, you don't have to, which I think is rather cool. So this is also under here. Options are the same on both. So I'm going to show you on the 25 metre, but 59 grand, 89 grand, like I said, there were 7 slots each to start off with. The only thing I will show on this one is, if we come down to, where is it? Cutting bar support, yes, like that. So you've got 25 foot. Then you've got sugarcane, so if you've taken a sugarcane harvester, that can support the arm of the sugarcane harvester, and then no. So this smaller one will do 25-foot headers. And 25-foot headers were, what size is that? 8 metres? 9 metres? Something like that. So that's for your smaller headers if you're going to use the header option. But again, you can turn that off, and you don't have to have it on at all if you don't want to. The larger one has a few more options. I mean, look at the size of it. It's just absolutely... It's huge. So we've got the option for Lizard, Continental, Random. Now, I'm not going to go through all the options. Lizard is standard like that. But under Continental, there are an absolute ton of different options. Through iron wheels, it says wheel without camera. And then aluminium wheels, and then simple aluminium wheels. There's a whole load. You'll find something you'll like within there. Random, we've got 5 spokes and 6 spokes in various different configurations, like that. And then if we come from our tyre choices, we've got auxiliary shoes that has extra supports on. So if you're putting heavy equipment and machinery on, and you don't want the whole lot moving, you can lower those down front and rear. Doesn't add much on. Cutting bar support. So on this one, we've got no, yes at 30 foot, 45 foot or 60 foot. So that then takes you from your 9 metre-ish headers. 45 foot is up to your 13s, 13 and a halves. Your 60 foot, that's up to your 15 metre type headers. So, and then you've got sugarcane support or off. So I'll go for, let's say, 60 foot. We'll just leave that on there for the time being. Floors and extensions. So we've got standard smooth floor. We have ribbed rails. We've got metal floor. We've got wooden boards, new, lovely, and they extend out a bit. So you look like that. If you go for the wooden boards, that gives you your extension. Then you've got extension with old boards, which I went for, but it's up to you. And then back to standard. So that option on there as well. You've got ramp extension, so we can extend our ramps. Nice. We've got body 1 or 2. Now this is at the front here, so we can have it more sloped to the front where the cutter bar is, or like that. Now, if you're not having the cutter bar attachment and you want to put equipment up the front, you're going to want it like that, sloped. But if you've got it like this, you might want, again, it's up to you. Ramp warning signs. We can have those on the back or take them off if you don't want them on there. Triangles, yes or no. We've got rear lamp models. Now, there are 11 different lamp models in the back for the rear lights. I'm not going to go through all of them, but there are 11. Again, you'll find a lamp type you like. Round, yes or no. Oh, that was for the airing on the tyres, like that. So we can have that air system in place. It doesn't actually do anything, but you can have it on. I don't think it does anything. I'm sure there was an option to raise and lower the bed. Then we got on this one, we got disassembled tyres. So if I go back up to here and we take the cutting bar off, for example, like that. If you're transporting a harvester, just the harvester, what you can do is you can have sets of tyres on there for different manufacturers to make it look like, so if you change your harvester to have transport wheels, which are normally the narrow ones, you can simulate the fact you're taking the rest of your tyres on the front, if you want to. Again, you don't have to, that's entirely up to you. What we are going to do is go, don't need to turn those off. Come on, there we go, no. Go back up to there and turn that back on. Because we've got an option to change the colour on that in just a moment. So we've got on the back oversized plate, yes or no, like that. Side flags on the back, yes or no. It depends. I've got, if you go with the different sides on there, but there are side flags on there. Attacher, we've got plus trailer hitch, so if you want to tow something else behind it, you can. Bumper model, we've got 1, 2, and 3, a rounded one. Main colour does the main colour. Let's go green. There you go. Chassis colour does the underside. Let's go red so you can see it. There you go. Underneath. Then we've got support for cutting bar. So if you want it to match or mix and match, there you go. So put that on red just so you can see it. Bumper colour. So we can change our bumper. Let's go red on that. There we go. We've got ramp colour. So if you want your ramps to be metallic, you might want to go for a silver look to them. Or you might want to match your colours up. It's up to you. Rim colour. Does your rim colour and a license plate option on there as well. We're getting there. So this has multiple settings at this point. So let's try and get through them as best we can, everybody. So we start on group ramp. So R1 and right stick side to side does that. So you can have standard ramps, extend them out with the boards like that, and then we've got our up and down. So that's the first. So that's our ramp options. Nice. Then L1 and sealing the fittings. So if you don't want those divots in there, you want it to be a smooth bed, I can seal the fittings and it puts boards across there to keep it a smooth flat deck if you want to. Lovely job. Now if we go from control group 1 to 2, that's the cutting bar support. So if we want that ready to put a header on, we go R1, right stick side to side, so we want to swing it that way, and then we bring the whole unit forward. So we can get to it easier with our harvester, which means that the harvester should go either side of those rails. We want to try and get as level as possible that way if we can. So that brings it out and ready to go. Press it again, triangle. We've got auxiliary shoes. So if you went for the extra shoes on the back there, we've got R1 and right stick up and down. Puts our front and rear supports and supports the entire deck. Lifts the lorry off the floor a bit as well, so the whole lot shouldn't move. Press it again now. Visual adjustment, that's when the header's on. So you won't get any option at the moment Once your header is on that attacher, you've got the option to adjust your header so it looks better if it's not quite sat how you want it to sit. We'll show you that in just a moment. So what we're going to do now is come back to... I'm going to go to cutting bar support. We're going to hop out of there. I hope this works. Now you need to make sure you get your header quite a long way up onto it. Otherwise it won't give you the option to attach it. And if it doesn't attach properly, then when you try and turn that cutter bar attacher, your header will swing all over the place. What I do like as well is this is so wide as well. Sometimes you get the wide ones, but even with the wide ones, getting bigger harvesters on is tricky. This thing is so long as well. So what we're going to do is try and get right up over that, as far over that as we can, hopefully to about, let's go there, drop that on, and then back up a bit. So we haven't got that option anymore. What I want to do is back up far enough that when I turn that header on that thing, I'm not going to hit anything. Plus, I want to make sure I'm not over the top of the ramps on the back. Let's turn the engine off. What should happen is, now when we get in the cab, it should give me the option to attach that header. There we go. So now, if I press attach, that header is now attached. But what you'll also notice, if we switch now, to press triangle again, triangle, 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 visual adjustment. So this is where we can now adjust that header. So we've got our option R1, so we can swing it that way, that way. We got, what was it, L1, R1, yeah, so we got L1, R1, and we got forwards and backwards, we got up and down, so we can adjust that header on there to sit exactly where we want to make it look more realistic sitting on there. That's up to you. But what we now do is go press our triangle till we get back to cutting bar support again, and what we're going to do is R1, rotate that round. Like I said, I'm going to bring it this way now as well, but rotate around so I don't hit the harvester. That's the plan. Oh, honestly, PlayStation controller, right, let's bring it that way and then we'll rotate it. There we go. And like I said, you want to make sure that you've got a long back on your vehicle, because that overhangs a long way and you don't want that crunching into the back of it. So there we go, that's adjusted, it's on the back, it's out the way. I can switch back to, I'm going to want to go back to my ramp support. The harvester can come forward a little bit if I want it to, but we should be out of the way of the ramps, I think. We can strap that down, and then taking it off is the reverse of what we just did. You swing it back round again, bring your harvester up to it. What you want to do is switch to the cutter bar and your header, and then detach. It unclips it, you then clip it onto your harvester, and away you go. So what we'll do now, go onto there, come to the back, R1, right stick, no, not that one, up like that. We are locked up and in place, strapped down. Oh, tell what I didn't do. Thinking, why am I not driving? That's because my wheels aren't on the floor. Let's change to auxiliary shoes. Let's put those up. There we go. And we're good to go. So even if you don't have the cutter bar option on there, if you don't want to have the cutter bar option on there, it's still an absolutely monstrous low loader. But what I will say is, with a big harvester and the header on there, trying to slow down and stop, give yourself plenty of room, because it takes a little while. And there you go. That's it. Did we do it? I think so. That's the transport trailer, 19 metre, 25 metre by SrVertex and SeviModding. I hope you found all of this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do, as always, thanks for watching.